I think he needs more games, but at the same time, there's these rumours that Skepovic might be going in January. And to be honest, if somebody comes in with an offer of money that isn't far off what we paid for him, it might be the right thing to do to just.
I think he's fallen foul with sadly what's happened to quite a few Celtic players in recent years, and I think a lot of it's to do with the expectation that is placed on them when they first arrive. Skepovic didn't score right away. Immediately fans started getting on his back and questioning him, and I don't think he's ever get out of that.
Can I jump in quickly? Do you think that's because the fans have got such a low opinion of the league?
Partly, and partly because possibly where he was coming from as well, because he's coming from La Liga.
He's come from the second division. He's not even come from La Liga.
Yeah.
So I mean, my point is that Celtic fans have got such a low opinion of the league that if a player doesn't score, within the first couple of games, then he's a failure already. And that's, I think Skepovic will not have a chance of.
Might be it, but a Celtic striker is expected to score every second game at a minimum.
Yeah,
and we've had so many great strikers over the years, even recently and I know you don't necessarily think Hooper's the greatest player ever, but Hooper was a very good goal scorer. Yeah.
I would never question that. He's a very, very good goal scorer, good at what he did. But I personally feel that some of these guys coming in just don't have a chance. Skepovic, and maybe that is to do with the setup of one up front and Guidetti playing so well. But I don't understand when they're supposed to get that chance.
I think it's in stark contrast to Guidetti and the kind of feeling of fans when he arrived. He was very much kind of lauded by the fans before he even kicked a ball. Everybody was celebrating. I know Brian McManus for the Cynic is a huge fan of him and went on about him, and we were linked with him for years, and fair enough, he was kind of touted as the next big thing, but at the same time, a guy who's not really done much other than obviously at Feyenoord, but hadn't done anything recently, but there was a totally different outlook on him, I think, than what there was Skepovic.
Oh yeah, Skepovic has started 7 games, and he scored 1 goal. He's came on as a sub twice. So he's not had an opportunity.
He's had 7 starts.
Yeah, but
in Europe, playing one up top, but hardly anybody about him. When
we've not exactly rattled the goals in.
No, but he's had...
Actually, no. I'm talking nonsense.
That's good. Double figures for appearances.
He's played 7 games and he started 2. This is just in domestic, actually. So just in the SPL, he's only started 2 games. And he's came on as a sub 5 times. So the guy's just not been given an opportunity yet. But I just think
he deserves a chance in the team. He deserves a chance to show us what he can do now when the team is playing well and Dyla looks as if he's getting over his ideas and we're starting to see the fruits of things. I think he deserves a chance before we punt him.
Whilst I agree with that, we've talked about it in this pod, we've talked about it before. Our issue this season has been taking chances, and fair enough, Guidetti kind of fell off form last match, although he scored that fantastic overhead kick that never was a goal. Do you drop your striker and replace it with somebody to give him a chance when taking chances is where you're falling down? No,
the point I would make would be that he should be starting. He should have started every single European tie. It's a different level, but he's not. So for the game against Red Bull Salzburg, you know what Lee Griffiths can do. So start Skepovic.
But then we needed to qualify.
Yeah,
Tyler's got to do what he thinks is going to make us.
Well, we scored 1 goal and it wasn't from the striker.
Then Skepovic must have started the other 4 games. In Europe, that's the only game I think Griffith started them.
Can you have a look at that?
So Skepovic would have had the other 4 games.
He was coming in and playing.
Because he had to, because Guidetti wasn't.
He started against Salzburg away. Well, Boud, if you can look at...
Because I think Griffiths has started against Salzburg, but the other 4, Skepovic started up front.
Basically what we're saying is Skepovic, this meaningless game in Europe, during the week is key. It's set up for him. It's perfect for him.
Aye.
Get him on, give him the full 90 minutes, and let's see what he can do.
I think the point would be, to me personally, Skepovic, sometimes you just get a feeling a player's just not going to be successful, and it's not fair, and it's not judged on their ability, and it's not judged on them. It's just, you get a feeling. I just have this feeling that he's not going to get a chance, and
You can compare it to previous with Pukki and Bangura.
yeah, you can, absolutely. Pookie's came out and said that he wants to, stay Brøndby.
Oh, thank God, Pukki.
But Brøndby might not be able to afford his wages, or Celtic might not maybe rate him higher than Brøndby are willing to pay. There's lots of stumbling blocks. But at that point, you do know that I think we're all aware that Pucky's not got a chance. So if he does, we don't sell him to Brøndby, we'll be selling him to somebody anyway.
Puck that, he's not coming back here.
Oh, terrific. Puck that. That's because it's his name, like Pucky. Any other kind of points about Celtic before? Well, we're actually going to have to wrap this up because we're at 80 minutes. But any other kind of points about Celtic? We'll have a brief overview of. Well, we've kind of covered most things.
Yeah. He started 3 games in Europe.
So he's 5 starts since he's came to Celtic. That's not a lot.
How many of those games did they last in 90 minutes, Boud?
One. One of those games against Astra, 2-1 victory.
Great. Any other kind of points? Do we have any other questions? I think there was a couple of questions from Ginty.
It was about Italy.
What was the question?
How much influence do the Cosa Nostra have on Italian football? Juve, Roma and Napoli to draw. This bonus, Mr. Capos.
There's absolutely no Juventus are honest and decent, and they don't do cheating or anything like that. So no, none.
Well, good that we asked and answered that question.
It's
Chris. Good
convenient that question was asked the week that Sermani's off.
Yes, Chris Armani, who
Who
kids only knows about Italian football, but let's be honest, he doesn't know that much.
His name's not even Sermani, he just gave it to himself to sound more Italian.
Yeah, absolutely, that's true. Big Chris Doyle. We watched Juventus and Fiorentina on Friday. Thoughts?
Well, drinking
Yeah,
liquid grass.
Liquid, not liquid grass. Grass that liquid that tasted like grass. Thoughts on it? Just it was.
Isn't very great, but I suppose it's a good result for Fiorentina. When the kind of start to the season that they've had, it's been pretty dire. So to get a draw, fair enough. It was at home, and I know you said that at the time when I said this, but I still think it was pretty good.
Yeah, Roma snatched a victory from being 2-0, a draw from being 2-0 down as well.
Both Milan teams lost as well.
Yeah, that's right.
Napoli won.
Napoli drew.
So
Yeah,
that seemed to be quite a good weekend for the lower teams.
Yeah, absolutely. Just quickly touch on England. Arsenal. What's going on there? They could have. I mean, they could have been and probably should have been 4-0 down.
Big Virgil would be clearly walking into that team.
Yeah, I think VVD and a 15-year-old Norwegian is the answer to that problem.
No,
I think we could offload Effie as well and just see here. There's a double partnership, man, at work fees.
You seen this boy play? Yeah,
World Cup. Yeah, you played at the World Cup. Don't you worry about that. David Moyes' Real Sociedad get smashed 4-0 yesterday. It's his first defeat of being in charge, but it was a very
That's the second game.
No, 4th game, I think.
On Coyle signed for Dynamo, Houston Dynamos.
Yeah,
3-year deal.
3-year deal. Got nowhere else really to go, does he? To be fair, he says he's pretty much too big for Scottish football.
Just a wee working holiday for him.
But that's it.
Right.
Move to Houston. Right, terrific stuff, guys. Anything else? Any comments anyone else wants to make? Or
Ronaldo scored a hat trick, so Messi thought he would score a hat trick.
3 hat tricks
Won
in his
the
last 4
derby
games.
against Espanyol 5-1, 6-1, 5-1,
5-1.
5-1.
Terrific stuff.
And I noticed as well down south that Gareth Barry will be the first player to break through 3 figures for yellow cards. He's on 99 yellow cards.
Jesus.
And he's the highest, and I think he'll be the first player to get to 100 yellow cards.
God, it's because he's so slow though. Like, that's literally why, because people run by him and he just pulls them down because he's so slow.
Tell you, Everton were good the other day. I watched some of that game. Thought Everton were pretty decent.
Against Man City?
They blow hot and cold, but I thought that was a right good game. See, second half, I really thought it was entertaining. It was end to end. Enjoyed it.
And I don't know what Sam Allardyce is doing at West Ham, but it's
It's
a
sickening,
great
isn't
start.
it?
That's a great start.
It's hard to watch.
They've got good players, basically. Kevin Nolan barely starts for them anymore, and
No, for the last couple of games, I'm sure they've been starting with Carroll. He's been keeping Zarate in the bench, the guys Sacco and Valencia.
aye. Well,
Those three are getting left on the bench for Carroll, Cole and Nolan at times.
but I think if you look at, I've always said that Carroll is just too injury prone, but he's a good player. He is a good player because he's a big guy, but he does actually have technique and he's intelligent. But he's just always injured. His hamstrings pop every couple of minutes, frankly. Right, Boud, we good to go?
Yeah, pretty much. I was just going to mention Man City 200 million on a training complex, which, I mean...
Have you seen the size of it? It's comprises of I think there's one pitch, and it's almost like a kind of mini stadium. It's got
Aye. Seating.
Aye. The seats.
Stand.
It's got seats. You can sit down. Right.
A wee sofa.
Aye. And I think it's got a retractable roof. And then there's another pitch, again, with seats round it that people can sit and watch.
Is it going
what's
to
happening.
have a heliport as well?
And then I think
A heliport?
I think there's about
It's a 7,000 capacity stadium.
Aye, and then there's 6 or 7 full-size pitches that are around these as well. It's a huge...
I take it that's where their kind of
complex.
development squad will play.
Aye, it's where it's like their youth academy and their training
Terrific.
all in one.
See what money will get you, but no history. Can he buy history?
Speaking of history, before we go,
Okay.
thought I'd make a point, right? Steaua Bucharest,
They've
stripped
lost
of their name, their badge,
everything.
their full identity.
Stripped of everything. Why exactly?
A trademark disagreement or kind of conflict with the is it something like the army or something?
Well, they were an army team. They were always the army
Aye,
team.
I think it was with the army, and they've been stripped of everything. They've lost their kind of appeal. And
Steaua
they're gonna
Bucharest stripped of name, colours and emblem after court ruling. The 1986 European champions left without an identity. Steaua have lost battle over trademark with Defence Ministry. Romanian champions referred to as hosts on scoreboard, but they've got a reprieve for the Europa League for this Thursday.
So does that mean the army now have all their...
Well, they were an army side. They were an army side. No, they've just been stripped of... they've not been stripped of their titles. They've just been stripped of their identity. So their badge and their name and all that. They won those titles. It's not like they
So they
bought
can't
them.
use a name, they can't use a badge.
For the Romanian Sevco?
Romania's most famous club, who getting this from the Guardian, Romania's most famous club, who were founded in 1947 as an army side, had their registration cancelled by Romania's highest court on Wednesday after losing a battle over their trademark with the country's defence ministry. The ministry
So did they just want money from them to use it? Or is it just somebody who's not a fan that's decided, right, General Fanny Boss has decided he doesn't like you, or taking the name?
It's just, yeah. The name effectively becomes invincible, removed from all training kits and official suits.
Is that going to be plenty of kludge in the Champions League for going forward?
Plenty of kludge. Knee-deep in kludge.
Jesus.
Oh dear. Anyway, terrific. We're back on form, back on track.
I don't know about being back on form, mate.
Back on track,
Maybe
certainly.
wait into your kludge.
Love kludge. Ciaran Harran, thanks as always for being involved.
It's been enjoyable.
Louis McCaffrey, pleasure as usual.
Thank you for my half a penny muffin. It was great. Actually, I had 2, so that was a penny. Thank you.
Chris Boud, technically gifted and handsome as
I
always.
think it's not finished yet.
Nah.
We're moving on from Louis. Boud.
Yeah, thank you. It's accurate. Well done.
True.
Should also give a special mention. Boud's laptop, aka the steel chair. That
Yeah, Bowdy dropped his laptop and it sounded like someone had cracked me with a steel chair. It was terrifying. But thanks for listening. We'll be back next week. 90MinuteCynic.com. At 90MinuteCynic is the Twitter. You can find us all related on Twitter.
YouTube, Facebook.
Facebook.com/90MinuteCynic. If you go on the website, there's links to all the stuff on. We've got some terrific videos that Boud produces mainly. So we'll speak to you down the road. I've been Chris Gallagher. Thanks for listening.